This is Trapped by A1 Crashing, but we're not playing this whole thing.
Why not?
Cause we about to be on the air, man.
So you just play that little snippet and that's it?
You know, sometimes you gotta give them just a little bit. Just a little bit. What's up, y'all? How was y'all holiday, man? Happy holidays, everybody watching. Hey, Candy guys, how was y'all holidays?
You know what? It was a
Candy
blessing.
bags.
I didn't ask for anything, but somehow I ended up with Laker tickets, man.
Oh, nice.
That definitely is a
My family
blessing.
looked out, man. My brother looked out. So I'm going to the Laker Clippers game January 14th.
That's a
Oh,
good game
nice.
to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be fun.
What about you, Sam? How was your holiday?
Man, Christmas was made by the white man. No, but
You know, I'm so bad. Just
I
answer
thought
questions.
Daniel wasn't here.
Right.
Dr. Umar got me heights. No, but it was alright, man. It's Christmas kind of changed for us and me and my family this year. So me and mom, we slept almost all day.
Oh.
That was cool.
Hey, sometimes you need it.
Huh?
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, sometimes that's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, boss, man.
Oh, my Christmas was kind of amazing. My daughter had a great Christmas, which is always like, that's, you know, her waking up, opening her presents. I'm like, that's the biggest part.
That makes you feel like a kid, doesn't it?
It does. Like, I get excited to, like, 'cause I know what she about to open,
Yeah.
so I know what's gonna get her lit. I'm like,
It's even better because
yeah, I'm like,
no,
open
like
that-
with her,
like,
yeah.
open that one, I know you-
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was good. I got some great gifts, man. Like, my family really looked out. My wife connected me, hooked up. Like,
Nice.
it was a great Christmas, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How was yours, Q?
My Christmas was cool. Got up early in the morning. Me and Chandra went out, passed out
That's
blankets to the homeless, jackets and
That's what's
clothes and water and food. You know, a lot of them were very thankful. So everyone that donated, thank you. All your blankets and donation things and money that you guys donated. The homeless was definitely appreciated. Then hung out with my kids. Same thing with Dame. Like when you're a parent, you get more on the get off of, like you know, like your kid's about to be turned up with certain
What's
gifts.
up, man?
So you know, watching the kids open up gifts, that whole little deal.
That's big.
was cool. Thank you.
Jay.
Jackie Chandler.
Well, you guys heard about the first half because I was
Yeah.
with him. In the second half, I ate, which is also the best part of Christmas.
Hell yeah.
And hung out with the kids. Yeah, but the difference between you guys as kids and the kids who I was with, my nieces and nephews, they were just all they were into was like opening gifts. They just wanted to open the gifts, go to the next one. Open the gifts, go to the next one. I said we are going to start wrapping up some empty boxes, or we are going to start putting the receipts on the bottom of their presents because they, you know, what they ended up playing with some Play-Doh from the Dollar Tree.
There's always that.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
hundreds of dollars worth of gifts. Because they had me, you know, uncles and aunts and grandmothers.
Yeah.
Play-Doh from the Dollar Tree. They had money that we had to give, roll on the floor, money on the floor, Play-Doh. That's all. Simplest things make them happy. But they love actually opening presents.
Well, you know what one of the best things is, and this happens like usually when they're younger, like before they get like 2, 3 years old. It's hilarious. Is when they open presents, but they want to play with the box. Like if it's something with a big box, like you give them something expensive with a big box, they're like, yeah, fuck the gift. Like I'm getting in the box.
In the box, especially if it's a big.
Okay.
Does that go along with the
You
comment?
know what I'm saying?
Nigga just blowing out the blue.
My nephew did that. He had his first birthday. First nephew, first grandson, first birthday, whole Laker theme. Had a cake with his picture on it. All he wanted was a big box.
Yeah.
That's it. You were like, we wasted so
Kids.
much money.
Kids.
What were you guys? Did you guys have a really good childhood Christmas memory? Since I asked, I'll go first.
Yes.
Something came to me.
Go ahead.
So my brother, you know, he has 6 sisters. You know, people feel sorry for him, but he he's the oldest. He loves football. We all end up loving football. But on Christmas morning, he would organize us into 2 football teams. And we would play 3-on-3, and he would be the referee. So that's what we used to do. And it was warm enough on Christmas for us to be out there. Sometimes it'd be cold, we had our jackets. But my parents made it a point to get us whatever we asked for. It wouldn't be like crazy stuff like kids nowadays.
Yeah.
But one year, which my dad calls the worst Christmas ever, we got Barbies. Not my brother. We got Barbies and bikes. And he got out there, instead of playing football, he taught us how to ride our bikes. That was like the best Christmas ever. But because there wasn't a bunch of stuff under the tree, My dad was like, oh, I know that was, we were like, Daddy, no, that we remember that.
Like to y'all, that was like y'all
so
favorite
that,
Christmas.
like, we would put the Barbies on the bikes, on the handlebars, brother time. It was just really, really fun.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that's a memory that I have.
I kind of have two. One, I had to be maybe around 4 or 5. I had like it was this big bass drum, and then in the bass drum it was different instruments.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Like a horn thing. And what happened? I was a spoiled brat, so it was me, my mom, my auntie, my grandmother, my grandfather. We had a little parade. I wanted a parade through the projects, playing my instruments, and they marched right along with me.
All the grown-ups.
Oh
my God!
They all had a different. And we marched, and I was leading with the drum, and we marched through the projects with my instrument. And the second one, my mom bought me like this. It was a Nebraska Cornhusker football outfit. It had the real hat, like the helmet, and like I was literally playing football with the pads on by myself.
Yeah, that was bad.
And
to this day, everyone wonder like how the hell Nebraska Cornhuskers is your favorite college football team. That's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. I was about 5 or 6, and my mom bought me that outfit. And
Ain't it crazy how sometimes like an outfit or just like a piece of clothing can make you choose a team? Like I remember my granddad did some work for a dude who was like an old coach at OSU. So he gave us just like a ton of Ohio State shit when I was like 9 years old. So then I just started rocking with Ohio State because I had Ohio State shirts, sweatshirts.
You already had the stuff.
Yeah, I had the stuff. So like built that like I ain't know nobody went. I ain't never been to Ohio. Don't know nobody. But I started like watching the Ohio State game. It's crazy how.
But those make the best stories.
I've never been to Nebraska in my life.
Yeah.
But because Chandra actually bought me the Nebraska jacket. Yeah, see me wear. She bought that for me last Christmas, and everyone would be like, "Where the hell you get a Nebraska jacket from?" And it's like, you know, why you even like Nebraska? So I have to go and tell that Christmas story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, for me, I think one of my favorite Christmas memories would have to be the year Nintendo came out with the Nintendo track and field joint where you could actually run on the pads. The power pads.
On the power pads.
But it wasn't my shit. Just like, let me tell you why that was my favorite Christmas though. Because that Christmas, Nintendo was no longer belonging to me, to my dad. That shit was my mom and my dad's. Cause they was getting up early, like having full-fledged track meets against each other. Cause like I was like, oh, I see where I get my competitive nature from.
Your
I
mom
get it
and
from my
dad
mom.
track meets?
My mom and dad would get up early, like on the paths going hard, like we sleeping here. You're like, who the hell? We get up, we go in the living room, and that's my parents going hard on the Nintendo track joint. So then it would be like family, like my dad and 2 of my brothers, and then my mom and one of my, like it would be like, it was teams. So we started having track meets against each other in the house, and that happened for like a long time until, you know, you get played out and whatever Nintendo came out. But that Christmas was one of my favorite Christmases because like the whole family like really got involved.
And active. And that's interesting. I didn't know about that because, you know, having a brother, he only had his one. I think he had like an Atari. I don't remember anything else after that. But so Nintendo had that first little active thing, and then it came up with the Wii, and that was their kind of active. I didn't know that.
That's how it was for us when Sega Genesis. That's when that first Madden came out, and then when the second Madden came out, they had this adapter where like 4 to 8 people could play at the same time. Yeah. So you had the whole like neighborhood. Playing Madden, playing a video game, so it was like
that was lit. Tournaments, everything. Because you used to have to wait for 2 players. Tecmo Bowl, you had to wait for 2 people. When they came up with the adapters, like yo, all 8 of us play at the same time, teams of 4 on 4. It was cracking. It was on. What about you, B?
Honestly, man, I mean, I was fortunate growing up to have pretty good Christmases. One of the more memorable was probably actually when I did the fan, believe it or not. Because I wanted it when PlayStation just came out, and I wanted it so badly. And then my mom, she was slick about it. She told me she couldn't get it for me. And then a delivery person came by, and on the card it said from Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes, and it was a PlayStation from them. And they asked my mom.
I'm not doing that.
Next topic.
answer what.
No, fuck that. You can't skim over the fact. You can't just skim over the fact that you got a PlayStation from Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes. That's like the most boss shit. Like, yeah, my favorite. Cause you know, Robert De Niro got me some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to say like it was so normal. Yeah, Robert De Niro sent me a fucking PlayStation. You know, nothing big. Nothing big.
You just shitting on all.
Hey, can I go first? My bad, Sam.
That's what I was like, what about you, Sam?
I'm like, give my shit and leave. I got you.
I hate him so much now.
Shit. I got the same memory as you, man. When the Nintendo came out, when the Nintendo Pad came out, Nintendo came out before the Nintendo Power Pad, so all my friends had Nintendo before me.
Yeah.
So when I got my Nintendo, I was like, you know, I just got the Nintendo. But then I looked, and the Pad was with it, and I was like, nigga! And then, you know, like you said, we was playing it that night. And, you know, back then, one too many track people running 9 point something in 100. Well, I had figured out, like, if you grab a butter knife,
Yep.
I mean, we was doing this. Woo!
Or a battery. Or a
Kid, man, we was killing.
Y'all found the cheat.
Yes,
Yeah.
found
The
different. Hey, hack.
Ghetto cheat.
Ghetto cheat.
My favorite memory now, though, as I look back, though, is I literally had the type of grandmas that would give you whatever they had. And so, you know, both of my grandmothers are gone now, but literally almost every year, my dad's mom would give me Fruit of the Loom, t-shirts, socks, whatever else. And then on my mama's side, my grandma would give me, like, kid you not, anywhere between $5 to $10 in straight nickels and dimes and quarters. I remember one Christmas she gave me exactly $9.76. People think I joke about that shit.
But
No, she gave me
it.
it on, and I would give. I'm not anything, but I would give a lot to have those particular memories back. I have my grandmother give me just the smallest stuff. You know,
Yeah,
so that's,
because that means a lot.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Hey man, can I tell y'all something?
Mm-hmm.
It is very exhausting talking to racist people.
Man, I don't know why y'all do it.
Well,
Are we gonna stop in 2017? Or?
I think we're gonna have to stop in 2000 because, like me, you look like the reason we have this show, the reason we have this platform, the reason I even get into see certain debates with people on Facebook. I want to try to educate people.
Right.
Like I want to try to get people to understand like where we coming from. I want to get people to understand like what's really going on. I want to, you know what I mean? But sometimes you run across people who just like, it's like talking to a brick wall, and it's the most frustrating thing. Like, cause like, you know, I can, if I got time, I can debate for hours. And I'm talking about, I can debate about bullshit. I can debate about Kobe and the Lakers, like for hours. I can debate about.
You've been doing it for
Like,
yeah,
3 days in. 3 days in on the debate right now.
we 3 days in.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't a debate now. This shit is a summit. Like, like we 3 days in on the summit of why Kobe ain't on the top 10 list of ESPN. You know what I'm saying? But like, but when it comes to shit about race, I can't debate about that. It really gets physically exhausting for me. My blood boiling, and I get mad when like I was talking to a guy today. Actually, the same guy with the debate about the Kobe shit. Yeah. So I was talking to this guy, and he made a flippant comment and didn't understand why I got so pissed. Because he said, well, systematic racism may or may not exist. I said, no.
May or may not.
And I had already told him before, I'm like, yo, if you don't care about black people issues, I don't think you should speak on black issues. And he like, oh, you gonna tell me, like, that's rape, like, he tried to hit you with the reverse racism. That's rape, like, how would you feel if I told you not to talk about white people shit? I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same thing, one. And two, tell me that if you want to. I don't care, but I'm telling you, if you don't care about black people and black issues, and he was like, well, that's my opinion. I said, yeah, but you saying that, like, this is the strength of your entitlement and privilege in your head. Mm-hmm. In your head, you think your opinion holds more weight than people's factual, actual lives.
Yeah. So for you to even say it may or may not exist is a evidence of the fact that you're just completely ignorant to what's going on.
Yeah. Yes.
You're completely ignorant to the fact it may or may not.
Well, he even said, well, you mad at me because I view the world through rose-colored glasses. I said, yeah, because that's the worst kind of racism.
Exactly.
That means you refuse to acknowledge what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he's like, well, now you just judge me on the color of my skin. It's like, no, I'm judging you on this conversation and the dumb shit you're saying.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm
So you
saying?
understand what the topic was? Like,
Okay, so it started, let me start with the whole topic. So it started with the video of Joe Mixon and the white girl that he hit, right?
Let's give a little bit of background about that.
Okay, so Joe Mixon is a college player. There was a white girl that he clearly got into it with or something. We talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago. He got into it with her. She grabbed him, pushed him, and then slapped him, and then he fired on her ass and knocked her out. But then he ended up getting in trouble for the retaliation. But I don't know if there's
no consequence for her.
No consequence for her.
No.
The video was released, no consequence for her, even though she instigated it, she struck him first. And a lot of people's thing was, well, even though she struck him first, he shouldn't have hit her that hard. But that's a conversation for another day.
And when did this happen?
This happened like
2014.
two years ago.
July 2014.
But the video just came out.
Yeah, but the video was just
came out
released.
and now it's backlash.
So now that the video just came out, it's backlash, even though he served his suspension already, did his time. But now, like, the video just dropped, so they talking about he might not even get drafted now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it'll destroy this kid's whole future. So the Atlantic Star, I think it's called the Atlanta Star journalism page on Facebook, shout out to them, did like a small, you know how they have a small page. So they said that's not the first time a black athlete has been accosted by a white woman, and the white woman had no consequences, and the black man received.
So they back in Florida State.
Yep, the quarterback in Florida State, same. So they showed that. They showed a clip of the quarterback in Florida State, and they showed a clip of the Joe Mixon tape, and both times it was a white woman calling him a nigger, and then hitting him, getting physical. But both times, the backlash went only to, so his thing was, and I didn't like he was just classifying them as woman beaters. I'm like, you talking about two men, like to me they like Mayweather. I'm like, but we talking about Mayweather, who is known to just hit women unprovoked. You know what I'm saying? Like as opposed to a guy who
And
has
more than one.
and more than one
Habitual.
habitual woman beater.
Yeah.
You gonna compare him to an isolated incident where a man was struck first, and then like, and so he turned that into, oh, y'all saying that's okay to women. Like that's absolutely not what I'm saying. And I said that's not what this video is about. This video is about white women accosting black men and black men paying the consequences for retaliating. So that's when he went on to say, well, there may or may not be institutionalized racism, and that turned into a whole thing. And then he was like, he started being flippant, like laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the shit. Like you because some shit happened. Oh, y'all talking about racism from centuries ago, ha ha. And I was like, don't start with that bullshit. I was like, first of all, racism outright that was known wasn't centuries ago. Like up until the '60s, there was Jim Crow. And he like, oh, 50 years ago, haha. I'm like, yeah, but you think that shit gonna still have an effect? So exactly. So I said, you know, I started trying to talk to him, and then I was like, you know, because he was getting disrespectful. So of course I started getting disrespectful. And he's like, well, you need to learn how to be mature. Like, I'm being mature. Like you don't care about me or my people. So at this point, there's no more point of being respectful to you, because you have shown you ain't respectful or empathetic to my people, or even willing to listen to what I'm trying to say and trying to teach you. But he isn't the first time that I've dealt with that and trying to talk to somebody who, to me, exercising their white privilege. And the funny thing is, he's not even white. He's one of those really light-skinned Mexican guys. Like he's like half Mexican and half I think his mom was like Salvadorian, or I forgot. Like he told me to mix. Like it's like he's a Mexican and Pacific Islander, I think, or something like that.
Somebody made a comment that it's difficult for people to acknowledge and discuss it, whatever, sometimes because it's not important to them. So it's important to us.
And that's fine. That's what I said. If it's not important to you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then don't speak on it.
Yeah.
Like if it's not important to you, good. I get that. But don't talk about it. And then like I'm like, don't speak on black issues if they are important to you. Don't,
yeah.
Or don't tell me like, because this is my biggest thing. Don't tell me that my life is not real. Don't tell me that.
Don't tell me what I'm saying and the experiences that I'm saying and people.
Yes, don't tell me that
experiencing-
racism is not real.
Yeah, well,
don't tell me that like you could say you have an experience, because then you're gonna say, well, how you gonna tell me not to speak on black issues? I'm like, because one, you don't care, and then two, you're not even listening to black people talk to you about black issues. So that means you have no stake in caring or even trying to learn.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, this is exhausting. You like it'd be different because some people would be like, well, I don't understand. Teach me. I'll have conversations with you till I'm blue in the face. If you say I understand, teach me. But he's arguing just to be right, not to even understand.
Yeah. And some
like you
people are
arguing,
like
you just want to be right. You don't even want to understand what we're talking about.
Well, that's the whole Fox News era that we're into. People who are informed and watch Fox News. we saw that throughout the whole election. Trump was offending people left and right.
Yeah.
But once he started offending white women, it was an outrage.
Yeah.
He been offending people for the last year and a half.
So why all of a sudden
18 months.
Yeah.
But when he started talking about grabbing white women without their consent and things like that, then now
it's a problem.
Then Trump became offensive and outrageous and things like that. So it's the general, like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not worried about it until it starts affecting me. Type
And my thing is, that's fine. If it don't affect you and you don't care, cool. But then don't tell me what doesn't affect you. Because it doesn't affect you, don't tell me that it doesn't exist for me.
That is irrelevant.
And that's what boils my blood. That's what pisses me off. Like, yes, it probably doesn't affect you because, and I'm like, listen, you can't speak on this because you will never, ever, no matter how many black friends you have, how many black people you are around, you will never feel the true effects of being black in America unless you're black in America. Because then he starts saying, well, you keep talking about my people and black people, like you only care about black people. You haven't said anything about the Latinos or the Asians. I said, well, first of all, don't try to all lives matter me with this shit. I said, second of all, you know why? Because I'm not qualified to speak on their shit. So I would let somebody that's Latino come and speak for themselves about the injustices they face. I would let somebody that's Asian come speak for themselves. I said, but when it comes to systematic racism and black people, I talk about that because I know that. I experienced that, and I actually have researched that. Now, in regards to how it affects other races, because you act like racism only affects black people. I said, no.
That's not what I'm speaking on,
Yeah, I said, that's not, we speaking on racism when it comes to black people in this particular situation.
Right.
In this particular video.
Right.
Like, my thing is, nobody's saying any type of domestic violence is good. But treat everybody the same as well in regards to how, like, there was a lot of domestic violence cases in the NFL. They don't get treated the same way that black domestic violence cases get treated.
And it's clear.
The white kicker.
Yeah.
You heard about that?
Right.
What, for about a week or two?
Yeah,
And I'm talking about, and he didn't do like Ray Rice. You know, like he hit his woman
The
once.
one that called his wife a slave?
Yeah, like he had abused her, enslaved her for more than 10 years.
Well, I saw it.
And that,
I saw it in law enforcement. You know, you guys know about my whole domestic violence situation, and then I was cleared, charges were dropped, but then they said, you know what? We're going to suspend you for 20 days for being in a bad relationship. Where there was officers 10 off, white officers 10 off on their wives left and right. They took him inside, took him off the street. Next thing you know, he right back.
Oh, you know what else he hit me with?
No
There can't be systematic racism because we got a black president. I'm like, that statement alone. I said that statement alone shows how much you don't understand about. Yeah, like cause if there was systematic racism, how would you have black people in all branches of government? I'm like, that's not how systematic racism works.
You just don't. Yeah, that's
But-
equivalent.
but-
That's
yeah.
equivalent to.
That's so ignorant.
But that's equivalent to the I'm not racist because I have a black friend.
So,
So
yeah,
at that point, you should have known.
Yeah,
like,
Ben Carson is not considered a black friend.
So when
Yeah.
Congress said that they was gonna shut Obama down before Obama got in office, was that not enough
Exactly. That's
for
not,
you?
And did it-
overlook that? Yeah.
Right, because that is
Right.
a product of white supremacy
Right.
and systematic racism. The fact that before you even know what this man wants to put into play, what his policies are, we gonna say no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how good it is for the American people or how bad it is, we have just decided, since this is a black president, no other reason, because I never did that to any other Democratic president, so it's not about he's a Democratic president. No, the fact that it's a black president, we are going to try to stop him from doing anything that he does when he gets in office.
I mean, you had several senators and congressmen said my top priority is to make Obama a one-term president, and he hasn't even took office at this time yet.
Right.
So you, as a government official, your number one priority is to make sure that he's only president one time. Why? Because like Dave said, they didn't do that to Bill Clinton.
No.
They didn't do that to Jimmy Carter. So we can go down the list of presidents they didn't do that to. I mean, we all knew what.
We all knew why. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, they.
But get to Dane's point. Yeah, I agree. Like, I've gotten to a point when I see a person is just too racist, is why. We're not getting anywhere with this. When there's a time where there's I'm back on Fox News, in a president candidate that can blurt out anything he wants with no facts. He can say whatever he wants. And
You want to sing the blues,
Right.
and people believe it despite constantly him been proven wrong, despite the fact checkers, and people like, oh no, no matter what, it's true. It's just like Trump just said that the economy was good on Christmas because he was elected. And
That doesn't even make sense.
Yes, he just said, and people were on Twitter was like, no, that was because our president, who was still Barack Obama, helped the economy get to this level.
Right.
And Fox News was like, yeah, since Trump got elected, the economy is running good. And that's the narrative, and they believe it.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can debate anybody that's just gonna believe stupidity, in which people are calling fake news now. They believe it as fact.
And it's so, isn't it? Do you guys find it? And I know a lot of people, I don't know if people think it's funny or disturbing or weird, but do you guys find it like odd that he tweets so much and he's so like emotional? Like he's tweeting about like his Saturday Night Live beef and he's just saying stuff like whatever, like just
I
saying
don't
whatever.
find it odd. He's been who he has
I
been,
know,
always
but-
been.
but-
He's a joke.
But just as far as like you're gonna be the president of the United States. Like I think President Obama just got a Twitter like it was not last year, the year before. It was just something.
Well, the problem was never Obama having Twitter. The problem wasn't Donald Trump having Twitter. The problem is the shit Donald Trump says on Twitter.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
that's the
So
problem.
imagine him as a president tweeting like you in a meeting. Well, he said he don't need intelligence briefings because he's intelligent. So whatever. It's like
That's pretty amazing.
yeah, that's what like what do you see? Like, but just the fact that you are the leader of the free world and you can just get on and say whatever and express yourself. It's literally say like, no, yeah, like I made the economy better, but ISIS is going down today. Like that type of stuff.
When he told China,
Like
to
keep the
like,
bomb.
are you serious?
Yeah,
Well,
go
yeah,
ahead and
because
keep 'em.
You gonna publicly just
Yeah,
put
go
it
ahead.
out there like
Go ahead
that?
and keep
Just
'em.
go ahead. And
Yeah.
Boy, this boy. man.
The simple fact that in the beginning of Obama's run, they had him a member of the Taliban. Said him and
Yeah.
Michelle was Muslims and terrorists. How he was anti-American. All this different stuff.
And people actually believe that
And
shit.
people-
He's not American.
Yeah, he's
They-
not an American.
Not a-
We have had our CIA and the FBI all come out and say that Putin, the Russian president in Russia, fucked with our election.
Yeah,
That helped get a candidate in,
and it doesn't matter.
and no one has questioned this.
Yeah.
No, it's like, and you remember, Republicans are supposed to be the patriots, the real Americans. And the moment you had a Congress member say, "Oh no, we're not gonna have a committee that looks into that," to me, right then and there, showed me that it was party before country.
Yeah,
Well, that's how Republicans are. Definitely, they're definitely fighting for it.
And as much as patriotic they want to come off, they definitely party before country. Because I'm like, this dude is definitely in cahoots
with Russia.
With Russia.
It's obvious.
And it's obvious.
Well, it's obvious and investigated and proven. Like that's the thing. Like it's obvious, investigated, and proven in the Republicans and the Republican Party and the people who follow the Republican Party. They still don't care. You know why? Because they just wanted a white male president that bad after Barack Obama.
And that's why when Van Jones came out and said that this was a white lash, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was like. You know what?
And it was so funny how the racists were shocked about that, but to me it was so clear.
It was clear.
Yeah, it was
People
clear.
who had not even thought about voting trekked there, pulled out the trailer parks and did what they had to do and voted him in. And I think the count, I don't know if the count is end or finished, but I think it's not now. It's like 3 million people that with
Voted for
popular
Hillary?
vote for
Yeah.
Hillary. Yeah.
Hey, like she won a popular vote by a landslide. But that's
3
why I said-
million?
That's why I said this shit is a joke, man.
That's why y'all need to do what I do now. I hardly argue with people. I tag y'all in my posts. And
we be like, oh God, this
I got
white.
me, but I got me a secret weapon. And you met my boy John Kinlaw.
Yeah.
You know, who's white. He goes in
Yeah, he does.
And he debates, you know.
But it
just
sucks because
right.
the people like John Kellogg, like those are people who want to talk to us.
Right.
But I'm like, I kind of don't need to talk to you. You get it.
Right.
You're not the guy that I need to talk to because he's like, no, I'm interested.
Right.
Tell me your point of view because now he's tagging me on this page.
Right.
He's like, dang, what you think of this?
Uh-huh.
After the conversation we had on your page,
Right.
something happened on his page and he tagged me. So I'm having a conversation. I end up, because of being tagged on his page, that means I'm exposed to a different audience on his page.
Yeah.
And his page are a lot of white people who think differently.
Right.
So I started talking to a guy, and it's funny because a guy was saying something, and I felt like what I said was kind of plain and simple and to the point. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, I kind of feel like I can't explain it any more plain than I did. And he like, get out of your feelings, bro. And I was like, no, like, I really wasn't. I said, I really was like saying, I don't think I can kind of make it plainer than. He said, oh, I'm sorry. Because he was ready to just go there and jump raw.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not even the shit I'm on. I'm literally like, no, this is why that's incorrect. And this is why I don't believe blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, what does that mean exactly? You think people should be able to commit crimes? I'm like they like to do that shit. Just say the most way out far-fetched shit.
Put words in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm like, you putting words on. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it was about how the war on drugs was really the war on poor black people. It was a video about how the war on drugs was the war on poor black people and how crack cocaine carried a much heavier sentence than powder cocaine. So he was like, so you think people should just be able to use drugs and sell drugs and not go to jail? That's not what the fuck I said.
It's amazing how they would spin shit in the minute.
They would spin shit, but I'm like, the shit you try to spin it to is so nonsensical. I'm saying, why would crack cocaine, which is not even pure, carry more of a sentence than powder cocaine, which is a purer form, which is sold at a higher cost? So like federal-wise, money-wise, like it costs more money to sell cocaine. You make more money on cocaine. What other reason would you have to make crack cocaine carry a heavier sentence? Pick Chan.
Pick me. Because the black people buy it and sell it.
Exactly. And because the white
It's so
people,
obvious.
because the white people who make the laws, still use the shit.
Right.
Like that was the bigger thing. The white people who make the laws use
That's
cocaine.
True. That's true.
Like
That's
cocaine
true.
is big
That
in,
is true.
in white corporate America.
That is very
like
true.
that shit is.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
cultural
thinking about-
norm. Like
yeah.
you go to
Yeah.
white, like that shit is normal for them to be like, yo, you want a bump of coke? I've been around that shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
If you go to those parties like in Hollywood Hills, and I saw it like laid out on the table, and everybody, I'm like, whoa, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, this is normal. Like you
Yeah.
guys
So
are
of
doing
course,
drugs.
so what other reason would you have to make those two carry different sentences? Because one affects you and one doesn't.
Right.
So the dude thought he was like, he didn't think that's what I said. Like I said, they tried to just spin shit. So you saying people, I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And then he said, so you saying people should get away with crime? I'm like, you know, like now, like I feel
Now
like
you're
you're trying
getting
to,
ridiculous.
yeah, like now you're getting ridiculous. That's no, get out of your feelings, bro. I'm like, no, I'm not my feelings. I pretty much laid out to you. But so those conversations, they can get exhausting, and I try, because people say stop, but I try to continue to have, I hope like sometimes you can open somebody's eyes. I hope you can, you know what I'm saying, like offer some kind of education, because I'm like, the thing is,
You gotta start somewhere.
we need to open our
Yeah.
own eyes, but we need to have a few John Kellogg's that can go back and talk to their own people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're going to listen to your white homeboy because you're white. So you listen to your white homeboy try to explain something, as opposed to listen to me explain it, because to me, I'm just a black man blaming it on white people.
Right.
Because that's what they try to turn into. When you talk about systematic racism,
Always.
even some black people say that though. When you talk about systematic racism, they say, well, we need to stop blaming the white man and get ourselves together. I'm like, if only it was that simple. And that's the thing. It's not a simplistic thing like that. Like, if we could just pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and go get a $1 million loan and be good, I would be with y'all. But that's not the case, and that's not how our system works. So we can't just say, and then, because like, you can't use the 1 out of 5 of us made it out the hood, so all of us can, because that's not how it works either. Like, the system is set up.
It's not designed for 4 out of 5 of us to make it.
Right, it's designed the other way.
Right.
For one of us to claw our way out
Right.
and get it.
Yeah.
So you can have one Jay-Z, and then they all point at Jay-Z, say, well, Jay-Z did it. Why can't you do it? Like, because for every crack dealer that turned into Jay-Z, there's 100 crack dealers that didn't make it. You know what I mean? It's like for every, you know what I'm saying? Corner boy.
And even that, when you look at his path, like, look what he had to do to even be successful. The fact that his narrative is that he sold drugs to
Right.
be rich.
He didn't go to Wharton.
He sold drugs to be rich. What does that tell you right then and there?
There was a, you gotta remember the documentary that was on HBO, and Chris Rock had the story. He said, yeah, I live in this really nice neighborhood, right, white neighborhood. He said, I live with Patrick Ewing and I'm gonna just say Usain Bolt, right? And he said, next to them is a white man. He's a doctor. He said, so basically, we got one of the greatest centers of all time, right, in basketball. Arguably the greatest Olympian, Usain Bolt. He said, that's basically a microcosm of, literally have to be like one of the greatest ever in what he does. He said, the nigga that lives next to him
is a doctor.
He didn't invent like the greatest cure of all time.
No.
He's just a doctor. And when I heard that, I said, wow, that's basically what we have to.
Well, yeah.
We have to be like super great.
And like I said, there's a lot of black people. Cause I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she was like, "I'm glad you're talking to me about this." Because there's a lot of black people who don't even understand how deep systematic racism is and how it affects us, and they don't even. So it's almost like a lot of people are in this system and they don't even know the system. They don't even understand the system.
Yep.
And having that conversation, it made me realize it was like, yo, we have a lot of work to do, even in just regards to talking to each other and put each other up on game and letting people understand like it's bigger than blaming ourselves, bigger than saying, yo, if the gangbangers just stop gangbanging, the hood would be better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, that's a part of it, but to get to that part of it, we gotta treat the sickness. We can't just treat the symptoms. Gangbanging is a symptom. It's a symptom of a sickness, and the sickness is white supremacy. The sickness is systematic racism. So we can't treat the symptom of gangbanging unless we treat this actual symptom that gave us the environment to build and to turn into and to be that. Like a lot of people talk about the crack epidemic. Like a lot of people don't even know, and this happened to us in our neighborhood. The crack epidemic was used to fund the Iran-Contra scandal. Like, so that shows you how deep this shit is. This shit goes to the White House. They dropped all the gun shit they had Oliver North on the Hill talking about, like, the guns that disappeared. Your homies had them shits. Remember all of a sudden niggas in the hood had AKs and shit? Yeah. Where the hell y'all think we get some AKs from? We ain't got no boats. We ain't got no connects to the Nicaraguan army.
You know what AKs are made? In Russia. What nigga you know in the 80s? Maybe in the 80s. Some Russian connect.
A Russian connect.
Niggas got passports, let alone, being able to go to Russia.
But you know what it is too? I think for the blacks that don't realize that there is a system, because there's a level of content. Because even when I started off college, I was so content with the fact like, hey, I'm this black kid and I'm getting it made, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get my degree. And then it wasn't until I moved with my white teammates, and I love them to death to this day, but it wasn't until I moved in with them where I see how easy it was for them to go to school compared to me doing all this shit I had to do just to get my degree while they living the life going through school.
Yeah.
And that's when I started finally realizing like, man, like there is a system in place and I have to do 5 times more than what you have to do just to get this degree. And when I graduate, I'm gonna start off a minimum while you're gonna start off with at least $20,000 more than I am.
Well, think about it. How often, like you said, how many times were we taught, even in high school and in middle school, how often were we taught that, yo, y'all have to be 3 times better than everybody else just to get the regular shit?
All the time.
Like even if you think,
I was.
Me too. So I'm saying, even if you think about just that part, the part that you have to teach a whole section of people. That just to be treated like regular people.
You have to be 3 times
better.
better.
You have to be 3 times better.
What was interesting, and I know we've had this discussion before, but what was interesting is that became something very normal to me. To hear my dad say, as when it's 6 girls, you're a woman, you're black, you gotta be 10 times better than everybody else. And I just thought it was, something he was doing to encourage us, make sure that we succeed, make sure that we put our best foot forward. But just even having this discussion, it's like, yeah, why can't my best be comparable to someone else's best, or even they're not best, because it's not sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So
your best has to go against their average.
Like we are the talented 10. Like us being here, and that's better than where a lot of people are in their lives, and we're still not where they are. As talented as we are. You know, talented. I like that phrase.
Yeah, I do too.
But you know, I never thought about it like that. Like it's always above and beyond.
So it's almost like we're even taught to work in the confines of this system.
Yeah.
Like you think about even just at a small microcosm, just a small basis, just being taught that we have to be better just to be regular.
Yeah.
We have to be better just to be
we
accepted.
have to be better to be recognized.
In the
Yeah.
society. Just teaching that shows you that there's a system in place that we have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we didn't have to overcome, you wouldn't have to teach us we got to be 3 times better.
And I didn't understand it then. You know, my sister's 9 years older than me, and when she was going to USC, I guess apparently, even though she had honor roll student, great SAT scores back in the early 90s, she got into USC because of affirmative action. And I didn't understand affirmative action then, but the fact that something like affirmative action has to exist just to even somewhat give us a better playing field, what does that tell you?
And it's not a coincidence that the moment affirmative action went away, black enrollment in UCs and private schools automatically went down.
And the unemployment rates went down. All that stuff started to go down. We saw, and that's proof in itself that
well, unemployment went up.
No.
Actually, she's talking about
when
it happened.
Once it was demolished, like once it was over, and once certain places didn't recognize it because they were going to court fighting to like not. That was it. Like we were not placed in as many diverse places as we had been when it was originally.
And you know what's even more amazing talking about affirmative action is like the white people who are mad at affirmative action. Like this is what I'm talking about. This is the level of shit we have to deal with. Like when you talk about white people who like, why do we have to give y'all jobs? I'm like, see, the thing is, y'all don't even understand. We had to like affirmative action, even the Rooney Rule in football. They had to make a rule just so you would interview black coaches.
Yeah,
like you have to at least interview 2 black coaches because y'all just won't do the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though you have black coaches who came up in the ranks, the same ranks as same offensive coordinators, like they took the same path as defensive coordinators, been Super Bowl winners as defensive and offensive coordinators, was not getting looks as head coach.
Somebody has to regulate laws for you to be fair or to look like, because that's a lot of things too. A lot of people we hiring based on affirmative action, but how many people were really passing probation and doing stuff like that?
Or when they say we taking a spot, and I'm like, you saying we taking your spot, but they gave us like a slot of 30 out of 3,000. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did y'all know there's in Major League Baseball, there's only one black manager?
Yes.
32 teams?
Yeah. One black manager out of 32 teams, and you know what's even crazier? It's only one Latino manager. Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, baseball is like 70% Latino players now. Like, I think 70% Latino. So why, if, in the sport where there's 60 to 70% Latino players,
right?
Of course, but
and they had a study that they feel like, because you know they say baseball is a cerebral game, and they think that somehow white people are smarter than Latino managers and black managers. That HBO Real Sport did a
they really believe that, and it's crazy because like, how can you be smarter than the players that are actually winning you the pennant? Like these are the players. So that means they have to be smart enough to play this game. They have to be smart enough.
Well, we saw that during the Randall Cunningham era. You know,
hell yeah.
Randall Cunningham, the scramble. Oh, Randall Cunningham is athletic. You know, Steve Young scramble. Oh, Steve Young is so wise. Steve Young is very smart out there, and you know, but Randall he's athletic.
And he was like, if you look back now, Randall Cunningham was an amazing quarterback. Because he was like pre-Mike Vick, pre-Dante Culpepper. Yeah. He was like everything.
And to piggyback off that, Q, like I actually love when the combine comes, right? Because you know they give these Wonderlic tests to players, and I love when they're surprised that somebody, let's just say like the kid from Clemson, Deshaun Watson, when he comes out, let's say if he scores high, right, Sam? I'm always amazed. Oh, they're like amazed that he scored that high on a Wonderlic test, as if we're genetically predisposed to not.
No, because a lot of them really believe that we are genetically predisposed to be fast and quick, but not smart. But the crazy thing is, like, even with football, you think about the football players. I remember having a conversation. I think his name was Lincoln Kennedy. He used to play for the Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Having a conversation. I'm like, first of all, he's one of the smartest dudes I've ever talked to.
Very smart.
Like smart. But I was having a conversation with him. He like, do you understand like the books we have to learn. Like I have to learn my plays as a defensive player, and then I have to try to learn a different team's offensive plays by memory every week with muscle memory
Yes.
to figure these things. Like I was like, damn, that's deep. He said, so how can we not be cerebral?
You know what always makes me laugh too? They always, whenever they talk about Richard Sherman.
That's the person I was just about to bring up.
And not only do they bring up that he went to Stanford, right? But you know they also bring up where he came from.
Yeah, they always gonna say Compton.
It can't just be
When he first got into it with Skip Bayless, he hit him with that. He said, I graduated from Stanford. What college you went to? And Skip got pissed.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was basically, Richard's like, look, don't try to make me just look like I'm just an athlete, I'm some dummy. I went to Stanford. What school you went to?
Yeah.
And like Tim said, they always gotta bring up they always gotta bring up where
And then they changed the narrative. Once America got used to the fact that he went to Stanford, then they try to make it seem like it's some miraculous thing. Like, oh my gosh, well, here we got a guy from Compton that went to Stanford, and the Kings kept him safe. And it was like, come on, it happens to all of them. Like, all of them make it.
The interesting thing about that is he picked Stanford over USC for that exact reason.
For the prestige.
So he can say, I went to Stanford.
For that, because him, my cousin, they always going to Pete Carroll camp every summer. Because my cousin played on that championship team with Richard too at the Mings. And Pete Carroll had all the insight on all that.
Yeah.
But when time came, Richard went to Stanford for that exact reason.
Well, you know what's crazy? Like, I'm glad we're talking about this because, like, how you talking about? They talking about Randall Cunningham. He's athletic. Or even like when you have like Richard Sherman cursing his offensive coordinator off. They like, oh, you know, he's a wild. You can't have that on the sideline. But when Tom Brady does it, look at that fiery competitor. He's so passionate. That passion. I'm like, look at this bullshit.
Last year, Tom Brady on national TV said "fuck" 3 times. The TV was right on him. They skipped that whole. They didn't say nothing, and you can literally see it. I rewinded that shit.
Cussing out his coaching. Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'll post this on Facebook. He said "fuck" 3 times, and they ain't say nothing. But the moment something looks rugged, when it comes to us, it's televised.
Speaking of that Cody talk, have y'all seen these snippets of George Karl's book? Is he just like, fuck the NBA, I ain't going back? Did he decide like
he ain't coming back?
Yeah, he must be done coaching.
He said this motherfucker was like, he turning into Angela Bassett after she burnt the car on waiting to exhale. Like,
you made the good point, Dame, I think with the latest rant that or the excerpt of his book, the latest one is he's not even involved with.
He's not even involved with the Portland Trail Blazers. So why are you saying Damian Lillard is the problem? Like, at least when you talking about the Nuggets, you was the coach of the Nuggets. At least when you talking about the Sacramento Kings, you was the coach of the Kings. Now you're literally saying, well, I know the white coach is a good coach, so the problem gotta be Damian Lillard. But you don't even know Damian Lillard. And that's why now I hope people understand why I got so pissed about the Phil Jackson shit. Because to me, this is more of that. I'm like, this that coded talk shit. And I'm saying, like, even if it's not coming from racism, this is how they talk and think about us as a whole. Like, it's not an isolated incident. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, when you got 60-year-old white men talking about black men a certain kind of way, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to that coded talk.
Yeah, well, I would say this. That Denver team was some knuckleheads. They had, like, every beige thug in the NBA except Matt Moore. I mean, because you remember they had Kenyon Martin, they had J.R. Smith, they traded for Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
that's Kenyon Martin.
They had Birdman.
They had Birdman. That team was knuckleheads. They had to trade Allen Iverson for Chauncey Billups just to bring in some stability on that team. But the only thing that pissed me off, and because I was talking to Chandra about that, is that they were like young. They were like kids at that time. I think Carmelo came, he didn't get 1 year of college.
Yeah, Carmelo was 18.
JR came straight out of high school, and then, you know, AI and Kenyon was doing their thing, but I mean, but for him to now, to me, why put them out there like that now? Like right now, you should have said that. I mean,
but you know what's funny? You said there was a bunch of knuckleheads. The crazy shit is though, none of them got in trouble in Denver.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying this shit is whack. Because even though they got the reputation of being knuckleheads, none of them niggas got in trouble in Denver.
I know they got in trouble out here.
Like Carmelo got in trouble in Syracuse before he came out of college, but since he got out of college, he's been clean. He's been good. He ain't gotten in no trouble. Kenyon Martin, he was a thug.
He was a thug.
Kenyon Martin was a thug.
Hey, Kenyon Martin.
Because he'll fight. I think Kenyon Martin was about to go in the stand and fire on somebody.
No,
before.
you remember he was breaking out somebody's locker room one time.
Yeah, like so Kenyon Martin was a thug.
I understand. He always had the rep of being
That's the
hard
crazy
to coach.
So the funny thing is,
Brown,
they say Iverson was hard to coach, except the coaches that got shit out of him. That's what's crazy to me. Because if you talk to his Georgetown Hoya coach, John Thompson never says Iverson was hard to coach.
That's because John Thompson is like a 6'8" black dude that would put hands on AI.
You know what I'm saying? And then Larry Brown said the same thing. Larry Brown said he loved coaching Allen Iverson. And the crazy thing is, now you see, after Iverson left Philly, you watch Larry Brown's career, he was the fucking problem. You watch Larry Brown's career after he left Philly and how he destroyed every franchise he went to, but does he get the blame? No. Who still gets the blame? Allen Iverson.
He did his thing, and let's give Detroit for Detroit.
Yeah, he did his thing in Detroit, but then even he left it worse for wear.
No, you're right.
Even after, because he did his thing, he did his thing
in
with Allen Iverson. He did his thing with that team, but then he ran him in the ground, left, shitted on the organization.
The college that he's with, they started winning, now they in trouble, where they got sanctions or something like that.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, but he not gonna get called the thug. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you think about it, the real fuck up in that situation was Larry Brown.
Right.
And so you look at that Denver team. One, like he said, they was hella young. That was a hella young team. And George Karl, like the way he even talking about them, talking about, yeah, they ain't have fathers and shit, so they woo. And then the crazy shit is you think about all the guys. Like if there was any truth to a lot of the shit he was saying, I don't feel like you would have had that many former players who was on that Denver team rallying around Carmelo. If it was really that.
Well, they actually rallied around Chauncey. They had to bring like.
No, I'm talking about now. Like discussing.
He did like the book, like
of course, because I think they all.
It's a brotherhood, though, right?
Yeah. Well, they all kind of grew together. I mean, they kind of know what they did and.
But like Kenyon Martin said, how you gonna say Carmelo don't play defense, but you never did defense in practice? You never taught us. So that's what I'm saying.
Like Angelo saying the same thing.
Yeah. So it's like, how you gonna talk shit about this guy doing defense and you didn't teach defense?
Well, let me ask you, does it sound like a scoring girl?
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because Carmelo played. Because basically Carmelo was, well, I can't even say because he didn't do like LeBron. He was up front. He basically told Denver, I'm out.
Yeah.
Options.
Like do something. Yeah.
And everybody.
No. He like pretty much everybody knew Melo was going to New York.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, trade me, because I'm leaving this summer.
Get something.
Get something from me. Because and you remember they went through like that whole season, but I think George Karl, like he wanted to go home and play. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, because remember the backlash on LeBron was he was telling Cleveland, yeah, I'm gonna be here. You know, like, yeah, I'm going to
I'm get on TV. I'm out, bitch.
Yeah. But Melo didn't do that. Melo gave him the hell up. Like, look, I'm not going to be here. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to New York. So basically, I talked about this before. That old generation do not like these players
Who have control.
Using their power to get what they want. And everybody else can do it, but once the players do it, like
because the owners can do it all day. They could trade you. Owners could trade you all day, but it's funny. Like the owner will trade a veteran who's been with the team for years and gave him the blood, sweat, tears, best him, and at the end, like, oh, this is a bad contract. We gotta get this contract off. They will trade your ass. But the minute a player does the same thing, people turn and look at them as they're the bad guys.
And these old NBA dudes, they hate that. They hate that.
Because they couldn't do it.
They hate that these players are basically like, no, I don't want that. Hey, you know what? Hey, you trade Kevin Love.
That's why they say
trade
Wiggins.
Yeah, trade Wiggins for Kevin Love. Blah blah blah. And they hate the fact that these young black boys are pretty much like, look,
Shot callers.
Look, this is the power I have, and I'm going to use it. And so when Carmelo told him, like, look, trade me, but I'm only going to New York, and I'm leaving this summer. So look, I told you what's up.
Either trade me or
And so I just think George Karl just always kind of felt
the
some way about
unfortunate
that.
thing is, like, that's why I never blame the players in football when they hold out.
Oh hell! We talked about this.
That sport, for one, you only got
The worst contracts, yeah.
The worst, and they have no power.
Yeah.
Like literally.
That's the only power they have.
Yeah, they literally can sign a contract in 2016 and get cut in 2017.
No, and get cut in 2016.
Or 2016.
They're the
right,
only
right.
they're the only place that still don't have guaranteed
And that's
contracts.
exactly why I always root for them when they get that guaranteed money up front.
Yeah.
That's why I root for that. Because
Yeah.
that's right. Football is so big.
They're like, oh, you hurt?
Right. Literally.
Next.
You hurt. And I know, playing football, it's like that. I never blame them when those guys go
Yeah,
out.
I always say you're the next play away from the end of your career, and that's pretty much it.
Yep.
I mean,
Why you think these
I mean,
insurance out?
look how Tom Brady came in. Drew Bledsoe was the franchise quarterback.
Right.
Drew
Right.
Bledsoe was the quarterback.
You mean what happened to Dak? What's happening with Dak and Romo
Yeah,
right now?
Dak and Romo.
Willie Beeman and
Yeah.
that shit is.
I mean, how Kurt Warner? Who plays Kurt Warner too?
Mark Bowler or
Yeah. Trent Green, somebody like that.
So let me ask y'all this, because I know this is the hot topic for the night.
Here we go.
There we go.
This is the hot topic for the
I
night.
don't want to look in the
All right.
comment section for this shit.
Who mad?
The angry black woman.
Woo! Shit.
Can we talk about the angry? This said something happened. Because the Brandon be behind, so yeah, that something
Right.
happened.
Like,
No, I just want to talk about just to give some backstory to the people watching. This is kind of what made me want to talk about this. I don't remember who said it, but there was an article where Michelle Obama, of all people, Michelle Obama was described as an angry black woman, and they'll be so happy when an angry black woman is out of the White House. And I'm thinking about the whole 8 years that I have seen Obama in office. I was like, I would never have characterized Michelle Obama as an angry black woman, which got me to thinking, how many more times have black women been characterized as the angry black woman for either just standing up for themselves, just being assertive, or just trying to get their equal shit on?
Honestly, as the resident,
Because you're the resident black
as
woman.
a resident angry black woman, you guys that know me, I'm far from angry, but I've been classified as that. I've been classified as I have an attitude. We're not allowed to be sad or depressed. We have an attitude. We're mad. We're angry. We mad because we're single. We're single because we have an attitude. Everything is because we're angry. Like, that's just the classification. Like, we don't have that. We don't have the luxury of just having
A range of emotions?
having a range
Where
of
did that
emotions.
start? When did that start?
So that's what I want to
But
talk
I mean,
about.
it's not only.
Decade.
But I'm gonna say this: it's not only from like other people. Like, we get it from people who know. Like, I have to be very even keeled. Like, I have to be a very even keeled person to not get that label, and I still have gotten it. Like, if I'm upset one day, like, my chips are gone. Like, now I have an attitude with the world. Like, now I'm an angry black woman. Like, I work hard to be even keeled because of that. Because
So you say you have to be conscious of that.
I have to be conscious of
throughout
that
your regular
throughout
life,
my regular life.
just to not be
Like,
classified.
the tone of my voice right now, the way that I'm speaking right now, the way that I'm speaking to you guys right now, that's the way that I would maybe speak to my students, or I would never yell at my students, but if I'm being serious, my facial expressions and the way that I'm talking and communicating, okay, now Ms. Winslow, Ms. Winslow angry. She yelled at us. You know what I mean? That's just been the way that it is. So it does make me more conscious of that because we just have that rep.
That fucking sucks.
It does. Like, I can't yell at people. Like, I just yelled at y'all just now.
That would be considered, the way you talk to
the way I'm
someone would be
talking right
considered
now
you
is because that's how I have to be. Because and y'all asked where it came from. I couldn't tell you.
That's kind of what I want to explore. Where did that shit come from? Because it's perpetuated so much.
Did it start in the 90s?
No.
Why the 90s?
If you really think about it, right? Let's go back to when fathers and men were separated from women.
Okay.
And women had to be strong. And so I think what happens is people confuse strength for attitude. And it's not necessarily that I'm angry or that I have an attitude. I just have to do twice as much as you because my circumstances are different than your norm. And so I think when you look at these black women who had to raise their children on their own, they had to figure out how to get a job and raise children in a workforce that didn't want women working and they didn't want black women working.
Right.
So it's like, I think as time went on, and then so now you have this woman who's raising her daughter without a father in the household, and now she's telling her daughter, you gotta be strong, baby, because this world's gonna eat you up. And so she's growing up, and in her mind,
So
I gotta be a strong black
on each other,
woman.
yeah.
And it's not even necessarily like,
And you know,
world. It's
but
just,
maybe sometimes
right.
it is because at this point I do have that hardness. I do have to have that protection for myself. Like I'm just speaking for, you know, based on what you just said.
Yeah.
And then we get the relationships. Oh, Lord, y'all want to make a black woman mad? She gonna blow up your car. She gonna do this. She gonna do that. I'm sure there are people who do that. You know,
Well,
but that black women like I don't like. I think that's what it was a post. A post like, oh, you know, they don't like black women because we gonna get us a white woman because black women do X, Y, Z. Well, go get you a white woman then.
Well, I got a friend who says he doesn't date black women for that reason. He said he doesn't date black women because they make you work too hard. That was his exact word.
Because we have standards. I'm sorry. Is that what it is?
It's the most ignorant, nonsensical bullshit.
Especially because women of all races be on some bullshit.
That part. And here's the thing
All
about
races.
it. I personally think what happened was like.
He said all races.
All races. Okay.
Equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity ignorance.
Yeah.
I agree. I think.
This is definitely an all lives matter.
Well, unfortunately, like what happens. One reason why I don't like seeing some of the skits that we see on the internet, because a lot of the black,
The
skit
stereotypical.
artists, they always portray the angry black woman, and we get ha-has from it and shit, right? But here's the thing, but I think to kind of piggyback off what you said, Sam. So I'm gonna say this, and please, I hope they don't take it the wrong way.
They will.
Right.
No, they
Right.
won't. See, now y'all just made me
You know
mad.
what I'm saying? So, like, there are some women, I think what happened was like, when you say like a movie like Boys in the Hood, right? Then you had the mom who was angry that she had to do it on her own, and the son, you know, was acting out, this, that, and the third. But then it became like, then that's all we would see. We would perpetuate that in movies,
Right.
different things like that, and that's all we would see, because it started somewhere. I mean, people don't get, but it's just like I always say with generalization, there's no absolutes with it. There was a post about men, if a man kisses you and his dick
Right.
get hard, and all the women were speaking for men.
All the women were not speaking for me.
Well, not all.
Exactly.
See, there go them generalizations.
Which I hate because I read. I even said as a woman.
Angry black woman.
I know,
Angry
right.
black
Whoa,
woman.
calm it down, Chandra. Chandra,
Leave.
No,
calm
no,
down.
no, because I'm about to set this place on fire.
Leave.
No, even,
Calm down, black
but
woman.
like even as a woman, I was saying I think the guys are saying this is not true, and they were like, let me go look and see what else everybody else.
Right, and then Q had me rolling and dang, because y'all were like, we're telling you it's not true.
Yeah.
Why do y'all have to research that?
Yeah.
Like we're in the thread right now saying that is not the case.
Well,
And
that's
as with generalization, there's no absolutes with it.
Well, so my thing is, I want to touch on what you were saying in regards to what was perpetuated. I think what you mean when you said did it start in the 90s, I don't think the label of the angry black woman started in the 90s, but I think the perpetuation of the attitude, neck rolling, finger snapping black woman was what was prominent in the 90s. Because anytime a comedian or anytime we see somebody on TV act being the black woman or imitating a black woman or even a black woman acting up on TV, it was that.
Well, I say you have to go further back than that. When you start looking at black exploitation movies, is when black women will kind of Cleopatra and snapping fingers and stuff like that. So I say it started back in
The 70s, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it probably even started earlier than that, but I'm talking about.
She was like more.
No, but I didn't get the angry black woman from Pam Grier.
Yeah.
And that's weird because she was absolutely an angry black woman.
Looking back at it,
the reason why I said the 90s, I was thinking like more late 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s, like when Queen Latifah and them
That's
was
what-
coming on the scene, and you know the
That's what I was getting
whole
at, too.
black women empowerment movement that started going on. That's why I said,
shit,
like women started being more vocal about how they felt about men. Like, look,
You ain't gonna treat me like this.
cause for a long period of time, dudes was deadbeats and women didn't say nothing. Now
Right.
like you ain't shit, your mama ain't like they just start coming.
Oh yeah, I saw a post and I didn't even bother to post this. The guy, and I know he was dead serious. He was like, yeah, it was a movie that came out and somebody, I don't want to ruin the movie, but I guess somebody's husband had like a baby outside the family, and he was like, she didn't leave him. She took care of the baby, and where's the women that these days that do that? Like nobody ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Like this, so are we angry?
Well, even
not?
like you think about, have y'all seen the movie Cadillac Records?
Mm-hmm.
Cadillac Records, Muddy Waters really just bought a baby and dropped it off on this. Ironically, his wife was Gabrielle Union in the movie. He bought a baby and dropped the baby off on Gabrielle.
About that too?
Yeah, we are. Because that's art, imitating life, imitating art, imitating life, imitating art. But he came in, dropped the baby off in her lap and said, go get the baby some milk. And that's just what the fuck it was. They didn't have a conversation. He didn't say, yeah, baby, this is my child. He just literally walked in with a new baby outside of his marriage, dropped on his wife's lap, said, go get the baby some milk. And I'm like, that's how this shit used to be back then.
Yeah, that's how it was. So now it's like.
So I'm sure that probably created some anger.
Right, because like at the end of the day, like, okay, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm talking against it. Or you always see the Angela Bassett scene where she's setting the house on fire because the man did. So of course, like you know, you are seeing those different things. But even in our regular everyday life, like you guys have to really be cognizant of women and their behavior. Like, okay, if your behavior is changing, that doesn't necessarily mean you're angry.
Well, I think to get back to Michelle Obama, I think that was just pure intimidation.
Always.
That, look.
She's too articulate.
She's too articulate. She's strong. She's educated, and you can't match her.
Yeah, she was smart. She's strong. Like, and the thing about it is, it's not like Obama come off like a punk around her.
Yeah,
right.
She's still just as feminine and, you know, wife ass and what people want to call submissive, whatever. But it's not like she you know, Obama coming off like Bruce Jenner or anything either.
Yeah.
So
she hold her own.
You know,
and
I just think that they saw this woman because think about it. Most of the first ladies are just quiet. They smile, blah blah blah. They don't speak out. They, you know, whatever. And you know, they really not involved into the politics. So a lot of them don't really have a deep educated background, whatever. Whereas this one, she could probably. Michelle would probably destroy Hillary in the debate. Shit, Hillary started using her lungs.
right.
I mean, so I just think that with her, it was like instead of just saying, look, this woman she's educated, she's wise, she's fearless, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, you know, she's angry. No, because she's angry because you're intimidated by her. Them old white men were intimidated by Michelle.
Yeah, because I never seen her come off as the angry black woman. Even in her moments of like dropping zingers on niggas and stinging, it was never the finger snap. It was never yelling.
Like,
it was never the hair was witty.
yeah.
But I saw a white woman approach Obama with her finger in his face.
Yeah.
And no one said.
Oh, look at that angry white woman.
Yeah. Or the other white woman that's always talking about Obama. What's her name?
All of them.
Oh yeah, she definitely on Fox News. She be saying
Megyn Kelly?
dumb shit. Not Megyn Kelly.
I know you're talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about though.
And
Coulter.
She's another one. Like
All right.
the people. Shit, Sarah Palin. She always talking about hunting and.
But they not the angry white woman.
Yeah,
No, they're not. And it is, and I mean, I'm like I said, you got like we're talking about it on a larger scale, but literally in our everyday lives, like we do have to be cognizant of it because of that reputation. We
That
really
sucks.
do.
But let me tell you,
I
I talked to one of like my former students. I was talking to the parent, and it's funny how you think about things in hindsight, because when I was teaching her and at the school, she kind of has a reputation of being the angry, crazy black mom. But then when you talk to her outside of that and get her side of everything that happened and how shit went down, I'm like, that's crazy that she would have the reputation of the crazy mom who gonna come up here and act a fool. But then, like, first of all, both her kids, like, one is in college. I'm trying to have one of her kids come on the show because one of her kids is like super super intelligent, and I was talking to her, and it was amazing talking to one of my old students, and I'm like, yo, you are like on some brilliant shit right now. So I kind of want you to come on our show so we can hear from your generation, because I know we talk a lot of shit about your generation, but you on your shit. So I'm trying to get her on the show. But talking to her mother about the struggles of like being a mother without a father, like being a mother not having a father there, and having to make sure her son and her daughter were good and protect, because she was like, I had to be that way.
Exactly.
I had to protect them. She was like, because one of her sons, he was never a bad kid, he fired on one of his teachers. But I saw it. The teacher was antagonizing this boy, walking around behind him, throwing the ball in his face. The PE teacher kept like throwing the ball, and then he was like, yo man, stop throwing that ball. I'm watching the whole shit. And then the kid tries to walk away, and the teacher get behind him like a fucking kid, like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do if I throw the ball in your face? He's like, I'm telling you now, you throw the ball in my face, I'm fucking firing on you. And he threw the ball in, and that nigga two pieces of shit out of his PE teacher. And then like, first of all, the worst thing is you don't lose a fight in front of your students. If you gonna pick a fight with you better win that fight. Yeah. So he got two pieces, and like real quick, pop pop, and he was on the ground looking like, what happened? The police was coming up there to arrest him. The police was coming to arrest the kid.
Yeah, he got expelled, right?
No, he didn't get expelled.
You know why?
Because his mom called up there and was like, they knew who she was, and she said, let me tell y'all something. The police better not take my child before I get there, or it's gonna be some motherfucking problems. And she's like, I will be there in a minute.
Was you there with it?
Yeah. So like when she get up there, the police didn't take the kids, and then after they get the whole story and find out what happened, he didn't get expelled or nothing. Because they was like, yeah, the teacher was wrong. Like, why are you antagonizing your student?
Did the teacher get reprimanded?
The teacher got fired.
Good shit.
The teacher got fired because, like, why are you throwing the ball in the kid's face? Like, I mean, he's literally, like, throwing the ball, like, at the kid. So it's like, you know, he was like, I was just trying to get him off me. But if she wouldn't have been able to have that kind of strength and that reputation, her son probably would have went to jail that day and been in the system.
Yep.
Because somebody else would just be like if you docile, you not going. They would have took the kid before she got there, and you wouldn't know what to do. You just like, they took my kid to jail. I'm trying to find.
But not only that, like even if you don't have that type of personality, because of how we are, maybe it's our reputation, maybe it's because of how we can just be. There's been many times where, you know, you command respect just in general. Like, and a lot of people can't do that. You know, I was having older teachers like, Miss Mizzo, can you go in front of the school? Like, can you get them quiet? And I stand there and then boom. So sometimes it's just our presence, the way we carry ourselves. Like you were talking about how Michelle Obama was. Like that's really what it is. So is that something to fear? I don't know.
Well, I think you should embrace it.
I think it's something that you should embrace, and it is something that I did have to over my career. But I also had to come with that rep, like, oh, Miss Wizzo's walking. I'm walking, and you think I'm about to like attack you guys? No.
Well, the thing is, having a 14-year-old daughter, I've told her how she has to have a sense of command presence. Because I said, look, you got two strikes. You're a woman and you're black. Say your brother, he got one. He's just black. But you got two. I said, so when you have these two strikes against you, you have to be confident. You can't and you can't be soft, because you're gonna get it. You're basically gonna get it from sexism and racism.
Yeah.
You're gonna get it from two different ways. So you gotta have thick skin. You gotta be confident. And so as she gotten older, I could see that confidence is coming. And it's not that she's angry, but she has to be that way, because Chandra can tell you, we went through a very rough patch with her, with bullying and people talking about her hair and how big her lips is and this and that. And every day. Because
that could turn you into, or rightfully so, could turn you into an angry black woman.
But it's something I think we talked about on one of the very first shows I was on, about embracing who you are and just being who you are and letting your presence speak for yourself. And it comes, like, she was young. Yeah. So as he's saying, he's constantly working with her and talking to her. And you were like, how do we get what you're saying and bottle it up? I'm like, it's just something you kind of have to grow with. I mean, let me tell it, I'm the most fabulous person on earth. You know what I mean? And you can't tell me otherwise.
Well,
so,
okay, go ahead.
Let me answer our question. So, our guest last week, Magpie, right? Crystal. The funny thing is, Miranda, one of the first questions she had was for her was, she said, "You sound so angry." Like,
right.
You're talking about her life, the industry, and she basically said, and the funny thing is, I got a family that watched the show, And they asked me the same. They said, why was she so angry? Why was she so? Do y'all think it comes from having to be that way with the stories you told us about how unfair?
I think so.
I think so. It wasn't hard to, based on what she said, I don't think it was hard to see where that anger came from. It was a reason behind it. It wasn't just because you're a black woman and everybody thinks you're angry. She had very specific reasons.
Well, the thing is, when you in a profession, are you going to a profession that a lot of people
Don't respect.
don't respect? You gotta come. You gotta.
It's almost like you gotta double on the shit.
You gotta demand
Yeah.
as much of the little respect as you can get, basically.
I mean, because I don't know if you saw a post. I posted in our group where a dude was interviewing chicks for porn. It was the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And they were just taking it.
So just like you're in a profession where it's disrespect throughout just because what you do. So you walking around with the defense shield 24/7,
Right.
even though people are like trying to, because I kind of got it last week, so I was like, okay, I get why she
Has that exterior.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because she.
So, and let's talk about that even though. Rightfully so. She had a chip. I'm sure sometimes Chan have a chip. All the black women that we know in this room, like in your profession, Jamila, in your profession today, like, I'm sure there's things that make y'all have a chip, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Why do y'all not get to not act on it, but why are you not able to express that? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't you, like, why, if you rightfully have a right to have this anger, if you rightfully have a right to feel a certain type of way, why aren't you able to, like you were saying earlier, express this range of emotion?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to police your behavior
Yeah.
to not be looked at as an angry black woman?
Right.
Because that is the general rep. I mean, that's the rep in relationships, that's the rep in careers, that's the rep of the world.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let's talk about relationships. I'm gonna talk about the rep in relationships. You have, like Brandon said, he had his friend who was like, I won't date black women because of their attitude and their mouths. Well, one, I think a lot of dudes who say that, I think they're just weak, honestly. Like, dudes who say that, I think they're weak and can't handle a black woman who's gonna call them on their shit.
Or
Like, you want a woman that's gonna let you be on some bullshit.
Or
honestly.
That's what it is.
Number one, that, especially if you say it. Or number two, like, if you have a preference, don't justify your preference by bashing us.
But that's why I don't think it's about a preference.
But
that's why when they say that, I
Yeah.
don't think that's about a preference. Because if it's about a preference, it's not about bashing black. If it's about a preference, like, yeah, I just like white girls.
But, yeah.
In the end.
Yeah.
But if you say I
think-
like white girls because black women are this, like, no, you don't want a black woman who's gonna be like, I'm not doing that bullshit.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna do that shit with me.
Yeah.
And so you think you're gonna go get but you can do that, like the same thing you think you can do to a white woman in regards to the behavior and treating her way. You can find a black woman with low self-esteem and kind of do the same shit.
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I say it's not race-based. Like, you really can.
No.
It's not race-based at all. But I don't like that part is put on black women either in regards to relationships, because I'm like, one, to me that further perpetuates the angry black woman shit, and then two, like, there was a meme that was a joke, like an inside joke with friends, because ain't shit sacred no more, because once you share it, it can be shared in whatever manner, whatever context people want. So there was a meme where there was like, since I think 2013, they've been taking pictures with like 4 couples and 1 homegirl. So it's like 4 couples and 1 homegirl off to the side, like looking lonely. But it's on purpose. You can tell it's the joke of, I'm always with these 4 couples.
Yeah.
So it's 4 couples and the 1 homegirl. And all black, like all black couples and the 1 black homegirl on the side. I have to say that for specific reasons. And she's on the side looking like lonely, and then it's like 2013, 2014, like they've been taking this picture every year. So I've seen a lot of dudes sharing this picture and saying, because she got an attitude, like this is what happens to you when you have an attitude. This is why you can't get a man. Like, literally with no context, the woman ain't said shit, you ain't seen her. But what was crazy to me was, I was like, it's so funny that the focus about this is on the 1 black woman who don't have a man in the same fucking picture with 4 couples.
You know what?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a picture with 4 couples. So I mean, there's 4 black women in this picture with
the man,
happily married, or in a relationship, because it's the same couples for years. So this is long term, at least long term. We know from 2013 to 2016, it's been the same couples, right? So at least in a long-term relationship or married, but the focus is on the one girl. They're like, that's why you can't get a man. But I'm like, but what about the 4-to-1 in this equation that got a man?
But not only that, it's like, okay, I know the picture was like she was looking sad and lonely or whatever, but it also puts that thing out there like, okay, you lonely, sad, and pathetic. What if she just got out of a long relationship and she just don't want to be?
Right.
Why does single always have to be bad? Like,
right.
why, like now, but now she's single because she got an attitude.
Yeah, and that's what I have a problem with.
Not only that, she's single and she wants to be in a relationship, and she's single because she got an attitude and nobody don't want her.
And this is why you can't get a man.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's funny that all this context was built off of a picture with no narrative from her. It's not like she put the picture out with like, fuck niggas get money. Cause like if that was like, and she put that picture up, and if that was a caption, then you would be like, oh, this is why. But it's literally a picture of her.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But you probably have seen it before.
What was interesting too was I saw the picture. I don't know if it was a recent picture, but then I saw one where the previous years. So that's when you kind of saw like it was like the running joke or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it was interesting. I didn't think it was. I didn't initially think, oh, maybe it's a joke until I saw those other ones and she's purposely looking like sad and lonely and to the side. Because I was like, I wouldn't even be in the picture. Like I don't need no couple's picture if I'm sad and pathetic. You know.
I think Dane was on to something like you can't be doing fuckboy shit. Set them off and then say, okay, she an angry black woman. Because you think you get Becky, she catch your ass and she gonna cry and she gonna
might put your ass under jail.
Blah blah blah. But let me tell you, they just as vindictive. That's why white dudes trying to put them in front of shit and you trying to take them because it's just a different approach. But a lot of guys, and like Dan said, it's not about race. It's about that I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I'm going to do. And when I get caught, I want her to respond a certain way. And black women don't respond a certain way that, hey, she catch your ass texting someone else, she going to set it off. So you can't get mad and say, oh, well,
all day black girl.
Yeah, all day black girl fucking up. Well, you up there sending her coworker dick pictures. Yeah, that's gonna set her off. That's not.
That's a surefire way.
That's any angry black person.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
That's any woman. Like nobody wants to see you sending no pictures, but
and I realize a lot of dudes say, oh, well, black women are angry. Are normally dudes who just want to get away with doing certain shit, knowing that black women, most likely, they already dated. Look, she didn't already fuck with somebody like you. So she's on to your bullshit early on. So she gonna cut it off right away.
Well,
and that's pretty much it.
Here's the thing. I mean, just in my studies in college, a percentage of it is race. And some people might get mad at me for saying this, but there are angry black women.
Angry white women.
But the thing is, there's probably a small percentage of that. But just like you said in that picture, where there's 4 successful black marriages and there's 1 single person, and so what we do is we highlight
the negative.
We highlight that negative, and now all of a sudden it's the merit. It is the black American narrative that black women are angry, rather than looking at all the positive things that a black woman can do. And so, like I said, a percentage of it is race, but we for some reason keep highlighting. And I think too is, I think we as, even our generation, because we're still young enough, I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be repaired between black man and black woman.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of repairing that needs to, because it seems like we're all also on the defense of each other. It's like the moment something happens, I'm on the defense, and the moment I do something to you, you're on the defense. And now we are clashing, and it's like black woman, well, black man.
Wasn't there?
Whose fault is it? Your fault. It's your fault.
Well, that's
Wasn't there a movie called
Mad Black Woman? Yeah.
I mean, that was from a black man.
Well, once again, her husband wasn't shit. He wasn't shit. He had the cute little light-skinned chick. He kicked her out the crib and everything else, and then, he got smoked, paralyzed, and but the point is, her anger was a reaction.
Right.
And that's the thing, like if, look, a lot of fellas, they not angry. See, a lot of fellas mix angry and crazy. Some of y'all missing the red flags on the crazy and say, oh, she angry. No, nigga, you missed some red flags. That was crazy.
Right.
Anger is a reaction to basically your bullshit. So
Black women just don't wake up angry.
They're genetically.
Fuck y'all niggas.
Like basically, trust me, if a black woman just wake up and start slashing your tires, you missed some flags a long time ago. You missed some shit way back, dude, you focused way on something else. Like you missed some long time ago. So basically, it's almost like a lot of guys don't want to take the responsibility for some of their actions, and so it's easy to say, you know what? It's the angry black.
It's easier when we as black men gotta call niggas. I don't shit like that though.
No, that's okay. Because those that say that, we don't want them in.
Yeah,
stay on that side.
Look, most of the dudes that say that, they don't even want me.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Because I tried to have a conversation with the homie that said black women make it work too hard and he don't date them, but it was like talking into a brick wall.
But listen to that sentence. Listen to that sentence. Black women make me work too hard. What does that mean?
Right.
She wants you to respect her. She wants you to
Be
date
faithful,
her.
be
She wants you to be
faithful.
faithful. Like, nigga, for being faithful, that bitch is
Yeah.
tripping. Like,
All the things you said are like normal. And it's like,
I just want a nigga to be faithful. That's work.
people, don't talk to him no more. Let him stay on that side.
Like I said, I hate to play devil's advocate, but I do know some brothers who have some stories. They have some horror stories where they dealt with black women, and then here comes a white woman on a white horse, and all of a sudden she taking trips with him and whatnot. And so in their mind, that's how they're perceived.
yes.
Their
But
experience.
on the flip side of that,
Right.
there are some stories with
Right.
black men who have dealt with black women who went to the other side, and we needed a black woman to come in on the black horse and come get us back, right, and take us back to the other side.
Right.
Becky was trying to destroy our lives.
Hey, to the men.
Sierra.
Hey, ask Russell Wilson about his white woman
All right,
experience.
no. Right. He had to come back.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, yeah,
She was smashing teammates.
Yeah. So I'm sure there are stories about some black women doing some foul shit, but I'm like, that to me, we can't attribute that to race.
Oh, right. And then
That's the thing. That's where the problem comes.
But
Yeah,
I think
there's foul women everywhere.
And I think that's the problem. It's not like, okay, black women are this, white women. I mean, these are just choices. These are these women that are, these are just whack people.
But,
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what sucked though? We are the only race that's judged in a group. Whether it's, if Dane will do something, somebody goes, oh, black man out there tripping.
Yeah.
Or if trying to get attitude, oh, black women out, it's like, no matter what we do,
always the representative for everybody.
What was it? The light skinned niggas? Oh, that's that light skinned nigga.
Yeah, I mean, we always judge in a group, and that's hard. It's hard.
It's a lot
to
of
trace
pressure,
it.
yeah.
Because I mean, like Dave said, everyone can have a testimony like, okay, you dated 3 black women, and then you basically dated this white woman, and everything is cool. Could it just be that you wasn't treating those black women like you started treating those white women?
It could be that too.
I mean, it could be all type of
Other variables to this shit. Yeah.
It probably is other variables.
Yeah,
but
always
people
other
always
variables.
pick out like the worst of the worst, or I think we had this discussion before. When you're young and you date who's around you, and you're not old enough to experience what dating is supposed to be. And oh my gosh, it's black women, black baby mama. I got involved in her.
Because
Now it's all black women.
Because I'll tell you something. It's easy for me to act a certain way when a white chick gonna take me on trips. Of course you gonna act. Nigga wanna go on trips.
I'm gonna put on that good face.
Yeah, so of course you like, oh no, baby, I'm with you. You like, cause nigga, you wanna go on trips. But what if that white woman wasn't taking them on trips and there was an even playing field? Then you know,
Yeah.
what happens?
What would it be?
Right.
It would be too much work. That's what the fuck would happen.
Well, you know,
If
like
that
I
white
said,
woman asked him and held him accountable, that would also become too much work. That's just like you think about when niggas be talking about making their side chick the main chick because she's fun. I'm like, nigga, that's the point of your side chick. Like once you become the main chick, it's not gonna be fucking fun. Like the dumbass.
Same shit.
Like it's the fun is over. Like you get to deal with her only when you want a side chick, nigga. So hell yeah, it's fun. Because you don't have no argument with her. Y'all ain't got the stress of a household, nigga. Yes,
it's not real life.
not real life for her. Like she's the fantasy. But once you make her your main chick, she will no longer be the fantasy either.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that mentality where it's like, I'm like, yeah, I gotta think about the shit you saying. Like, of course, the white woman might seem like the fantasy in this particular situation because you done fucked off these 3 black girls who probably had your back to college, did your fucking college papers and all that, and then the white girl come along, want to suck you off and take you on trips, and then of course, she looks like the better option. Like,
I hate everything about this conversation.
Well, we kind of letting you guys in on the insight of when men talk about, you know, men issues, this type of stuff, like don't automatically assume we all be rolling with the fuckboy shit.
yeah.
Which is great, and but from our standpoint, like Brandon said, I just want to talk to him and let him know. And, you know, no, Brandon, he can stay over there.
And that's the funny, you know what's the funniest?
You can tell him, but it don't matter. It's like talking to the racist.
But one of the funniest things about your statement is a lot of times I see these posts where brothers talking about they only want to date white girls. It's brothers that a lot of black girls don't want anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see, I'm like, most of the chicks like, fuck him. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
And then, but even so, like, even if it was somebody who I might have been interested in dating, it's like if you had just thought about my whole group, who I am.
your mama.
Yeah, my mom, my group, who I am.
No, his own mama.
I don't
Yeah,
hate it. Yeah, then I don't want you. For real.
It's the same thing the other way. When I hear black chicks talking about, you know, you need to shake Tyrone and get your Tommy, like when I look at her, like shit, you not shit. You probably want to be gay. Ain't no dude fucking with you, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always the people that we wouldn't want anyway. They're like, okay, I'm not like.
Okay, Tyrone, see you later.
Well,
like, yeah.
Well, you know, like your one little friend. Anyway, talk
Oh
to
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Now,
No black dude would want her anyways.
there are some men and women whose main figure have hurt them.
Say that again?
I said there are some men and women whose main figure in their lives have hurt them. So you know how you were saying, well, what about your mama? Well, I know some black men that don't like black women because of their mama.
Hell yeah.
And because of their aunties.
Yeah,
and some
that's
black
true.
women who don't like black men because their father wasn't near.
Well, Maggie said that last week. She, for a long time, hated black men because she was.
Her daddy was old.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, then you got some deep psychological issues. Like,
She said it. She
That's
said
what
it.
he said.
She did. She said my daddy
She wanted her words.
She said my mama and daddy was some hoes.
Yeah.
I mean, then at that point, you know, we need to get counseling and deal with our childhoods. But it's some things that I can't tell you. But you did want to talk about the Gabrielle Union situation, although we don't know if that's true.
Okay, so it's all speculation.
Yeah.
It's all speculation, but we can talk
It was
about
a
the
topic,
situation.
as a topic,
We can
yeah.
talk about the situation. So there was speculation that Gabrielle Union, you know, for all those watching, I don't know if y'all know, but Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade supposedly broke up for a hot second and had a break. He had a break baby. Like,
Which
they
I
broke
hate
up.
the fact that that's something.
Well, y'all know that comes from friends.
It's
That comes
stupid.
from when Ross and Rachel broke up. They was on a
They're
break.
just so stupid.
So yeah, that's what it comes from.
Yeah.
No, it came from the break baby comes
Friends.
from like been on a break from friends. So then they saying that she didn't want the break baby in the family photos. So people were like, is she wrong for this? And a lot of people was like, no, actually. People saying she not wrong because like that's a reminder of his infidelity or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, but once you decided to stay with that man, you decided to accept that child. Once you decided, okay, I'm not gonna leave him and the baby is fine, then you decided that you want to accept that child. And the child should not suffer for the shit. Like, that's not that child's fault that his daddy stepped
Is
out.
it men or women saying no?
It was mostly women saying that shit was alright, which was weird to me.
Wow.
No, it's not, because they looking at it as
As the one that was cheating
as the
on.
one that was cheating on, because they stupid. So
One thing I-
one thing that I saw, which was an excellent comment, is if that again, we don't know if that's true or not, but as topic,
As a topic, yeah.
if the man is allowing that to happen, then he's whack. Like,
Absolutely.
no, my son is gonna be in the picture. This is my family. You decide to forgive me. You know, you're taking, like, this is who my family is. So I'm sorry if the reminder is in your face, but like again,
He ain't going nowhere.
It's not going nowhere. So what we gonna do for 18 Christmases? He ain't gonna be around.
He's gonna be around more than 18 years.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You know how they say, well, it's dumb, but yeah. So yeah, the man is whack if he allows her to.
They got kids together?
No.
No,
They don't.
he only has kids. A lot of them.
He has 2 kids, right?
And with the break baby.
She's
Three.
Three.
Well, 3 was the break baby.
3 with the baby. Break
Oh,
baby.
3
Still calling
and
it great baby.
yeah. Well,
That's what
that's
it is.
the purpose of this conversation. For the purpose of the conversation, I think he had 3 plus the break baby or 2 plus the break baby. Okay, 2 plus the break baby.
So I think we all agree that it's whack. But what do you guys think about a situation where, you know, somebody cheated and, you know, baby comes out? I know for a guy, he'd be like, no.
No, hell no.
What you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, what?
Okay, y'all on a break.
If she get pregnant,
Is she get pregnant? Oh yeah, no.
no,
But
There's men I know.
No, I'm not gonna be with her.
no.
But
Oh, right.
standard.
Yeah. That's not double standard. You have a choice not to be with mine too. If I get somebody pregnant on the break.
Yeah,
That's not double standard.
Okay,
So now I go to the doctor's appointments and shit with this dude, baby.
And then I can't have sex with you because I don't want to have, you know, that whole it's in your mind.
well,
Like,
maybe the baby's already born. You guys have worked it out. I don't know.
A break baby that's already born. That's kind of different.
Chris Thompson. Him and Khloe Kardashian are together, and he just had a
We
newborn.
talking about
We're talking about Kardashian,
no
though.
standards. No.
Oh, you know, anybody who got their money leaving, a Kardashian is infiltrated between you can have motherfucking.
Okay, we don't even need to take Kardashian out of it, but think about the topic of when people break up pregnant, when a woman is pregnant, when does she start dating? Or when, like, their lives go on.
Yeah.
So if you decide maybe to get back with the person, or they had a newborn, like how?
How long would it be like what would be like that place where I would be okay with getting back with her after she had the break baby?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's an interesting question.
We talking about some years or something.
Really?
No, I think it's different because you know I live in a day and age where traditional family is kind of taking a back seat, and now you're getting all these different type of families. What I mean by different type of families, you know, combined families.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting gay marriage, you know, adopting. So I think now it's. I think us as men, we're still kind of like, but you're starting to see more men pick up the slack, you know.
But
right.
the thing that I find interesting is when there's a baby involved. For me, in my mind, I'd be like, man, y'all just had sex like 11 months ago, 9 months ago, like 10 months. Like the baby is here. Are there still feelings there?
The baby to me is a constant reminder that other nigga was in my girl.
Yeah.
All right, let's be real.
I gotta look at this.
I gotta look at this nigga every day. Like
Okay.
this nigga, this is the product of my girl getting smashed by some
All right,
rando
okay.
while we was on a break.
All right, take out the rando. Take out the rando. She's no longer your girl. Now, you know, some woman, maybe she's pregnant. She's, you know, has a newborn. What is the time period?
Oh,
that
I
you
think
date
it's
a
different.
random person?
I think that's totally different. If
Yeah.
I met a girl who like had just had a baby
Or she's pregnant.
or she's pregnant, I think that's different. I could probably be with a girl who was pregnant. Or,
Right, but what is
That's
the
like
time?
baby with kids,
But what is the time? No, yeah, it is. But again, what is the time frame? Because again, you're dealing
well,
with.
for me, if there is no time frame, if I meet her and I like her and it's not it's a new situation.
So it's not.
I think the
So
new
she's
situation.
literally been pregnant like 5 days ago.
That's fine.
Okay.
The situation. That situation to me.
Yeah.
So you don't feel like there's like a healing time or
no.
a breakup time?
No, not if she's telling me she's ready to date. I feel like that situation is different than me getting back with. I think these are two totally
Oh, they
different
are.
things.
They are. We've agreed that you guys are done with.
Not that I'm done,
No, you said
but the
you're
little
done.
nigga might have to be 4.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's gonna be some years.
No, you done.
I said it's gonna be some years.
I'm not done. The little nigga might gotta be 4
Hey,
before I can accept him.
Nah, I'm talking about 13.
And if he start really looking like his daddy,
Okay, we're done. You're done. So don't tell me you're not done, because you're clearly
I
done.
think I already put him through.
He gotta be 13. He gotta be in college. I ain't waiting around that long.
I'll see you at the high school graduation.
Yeah, that's cold.
but if I meet a girl who's just like fresh,
Yeah.
like,
Who was pregnant? I ain't no problem with that.
That ain't no problem.
yeah, if I really like her and I'm
I mean, look, it's gonna be some issues.
Yeah.
I've dealt with that personally, having a newborn and a new relationship and its challenges, because you have to constantly communicate with your child's mother, because you got a 1 month old, so baby can't talk. So you got to be in constant communication. So
the only problem I got is I talked to a girl. She was pregnant. She didn't tell me that.
Oh, that's fucked up.
And she was like,
that's just fucked
and
up.
we was like, yeah, we
That should make you date white girls.
And I was like,
Nigga.
There was an angry black woman. Was she angry that she was pregnant?
yeah, because like she I was noticing she was gaining weight, but I didn't realize what
Like a
You just
pregnant?
smashed it.
Like a baby pump? She had a baby
What?
You smashed it.
What?
You
You
smashed?
just smash it. You
Hey,
smash it.
you know she was setting you up for? She was gonna tell you to have your baby.
Yeah, that's why she
Y'all saying that she
You was
was premature.
She was setting you up for a lob,
You just
nigga.
said you were
A
premature.
shack lob, not a like girl. You
Yeah,
was
she was gonna say that was yours. That's why she ain't
That the
telling you.
baby was
nigga,
premature.
she'll let you smash and
Hey, I got you.
drop
Enough, okay? Let him finish the story. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I had
Go
no
ahead.
idea.
Well, y'all, what's the next topic? I want to
Hey, no, I want to talk about this Kenna nigga baby that was about to happen to you. I want to discuss further this Kenna
She was
nigga
setting
baby.
you up for a lob, boy.
Yeah, she was playing a long con on you, Claire.
Did she have to go let loose in there?
I'm gonna be real.
Be real.
Be honest.
It's uncool.
We
It's
know you
uncool.
smashed.
Wait, we had sex. We
Alright.
had
And
sex.
she told you that was your baby.
And you busted through.
I put it like this. Okay, look. She said, she said, man, why you, I think I was something.
No, I'm sorry. Look, I'm being straight face. Look, I'm being, all right, look.
All right, for sure. Hold on, wait.
Act right.
All right,
Go ahead, buddy.
Act right.
Look,
Act
we
right.
started talking like, I'm guessing she was probably 2 months, right? Can't really tell. You wanna laugh?
No, I'm trying to keep it straight. I want to hear this.
So it was cool, you know, they know how or whatever. And we had sex multiple times, and she had hit me and just said she was pregnant.
Oh,
She
Lord.
was like, I'm pregnant. Ooh, I hate that you laughing. It's funny in hindsight, but
I know at that moment that shit was funny.
Hey, girl, I knew just about the brief what
He
happened.
knew the reference. He already knew. So I was like, niggas get real when you know it's not yours. We get real dumb. I was like, how? Like how? Like, and she's like, how do you? And she's like, and I hate that I even have to say this because I'm not that dude. But I was really on some like, nah,
It's not mine.
like no way. But I hate that I even have to because I never wanted to be like that dude. 'Cause
Yeah.
Y'all know, y'all gotta know, y'all know one of my big desires in life is to be a father.
Yeah.
But this situation would have been like the wrong time to be a father.
Light skin, baby.
So, like, literally, I'm for a while, like, sweating, bro. Like, because she was like,
She was trying to say
yeah,
yours.
like, and I was like, what? I said, no.
Yeah, I would have dated white girls
And
like that.
And I'm telling you, I had the Jimmy on like extra tight. Like, I know, no way. Like,
Also, you wasn't even raw dog. She trying to put the baby, nigga. You had a rubber on. She was trying to put the baby on you. Oh, she was bold. She was bold.
huh?
Don't you ever fuck somebody that dumb again. You gotta have some standards.
Well, all right. Not all the time. Okay.
Oh, okay. So he slipped. Okay.
No.
So
Yeah. That's me over there. Like,
Yeah.
Get it out. So I'm sitting there like, but you just how you know though. You just know. Like,
Yeah.
No, and then when she's showing now too, I'm like, what the fuck?
You like she showing fast? It was like that. Don't be a menace as soon as they had sex. You're like, I'm praying. Guess what, Trey? I'm
Like,
praying.
take care of me, my kids,
Fine,
pay my
nice.
bills. So yeah, so at that point, and then
Did she make it seem like you were the father?
it was one of those, and that's where the questions came because she was like, it was one of those where she wouldn't explicitly say it, but she certainly was like,
She implied it.
implying and hinting at a future, what we gonna do.
So she's trying to find a good nigga.
Shit like that, like, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? And at the time too, and I knew, as long as this was my mom was here too, so I knew how disappointed she would have been.
Yeah.
Because
Your mom
the
didn't
girl,
like her?
she didn't even really like me like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was one of
It
those.
was
Like,
dumb.
I'm like, I can't go out like that.
Also, let me ask you this: how did you find out that it was, or how did she ever come clean, or you just like, hell no, this shit ain't nothing?
The more I kept asking questions about just the
time
timeline,
frame. Like, how you showing that 1 month?
and her shit started crumbling. Like her story started to crumble. And then, but I'm just, cause I don't run from my responsibilities and shit. But I was just like, I said, we just like, but this just don't make sense. And I'm like, I don't know too much about it. It was so quick.
Yeah.
Like we did that, and like you're showing, like
Niggas on
like
Google, like, huh?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And she trying to hit me with all these different medical terms of, well, some women
Like,
don't
I'm having
show.
Jesus. He coming back to me.
I'm so annoyed by her.
Yeah, I was trying to get y'all before. I was trying to get y'all in. Because I already know y'all were
I'm over it.
Yeah, we would have been all in the, we would have been in your inbox. Like,
Y'all was like, nah.
Brandon, what's her name? Blast her out.
Yeah, I can't do that.
yeah.
I will tell you that, yeah, but I know. But she is on Facebook too.
Oh.
Hey, come on the show. We want to hear your side. We want to hear
On the
what
next
happened.
story.
We want to hear your side. There's two sides to every story.
Hey, that's-
Maury Povich up in here.
That's crazy though, because
But yeah.
like I think you was really a mark, bro. Like you was a mark. She was
Yeah.
like, oh, he good. He
That's
was
when I
like,
first
he's gonna be the.
understood that whole term of like, wow, there are some women that literally like.
That's fucking savage.
Yeah.
Like you talk about
Yeah.
savage. That's brutal,
Bro,
bro.
you made somebody else's kid.
That,
From
I'm
jump.
like, yeah.
You like why this
From
nigga like
jump.
Pierre? As he turned like 3 years old, hair started getting hella curly. I'm looking at him like, he taller than me already.
But yeah, dude, she just, yeah, that was a scare, bro. Like, for real, for real. And then like, her story started to crumble, and then she just like stopped
She
communicating.
disappeared. Oh yeah, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
That's
So
deep.
I was like, okay.
She
yeah.
got some other dude.
Wow.
Damn, that's crazy. So yeah, so she got some other nigga probably was like just engaged.
Yeah.
My baby.
Just in case, right?
Like he met her, she was like, I gotta get me a nigga before I get in 3 months, so I can say at least say he had preemed me by 3 months. She could say like he came a couple months early.
Early.
See?
That's what she was trying to do.
do.
Yeah, she was trying to work on her timeline.
Gee.
Oh, boy, she was setting you
Yeah,
up.
that's messed up. But yeah, but like Chan, to your question, if I met a girl, I don't think there's a specific timeline. If I felt like she was emotionally ready to date and I really liked her, because what women don't know is if a dude really like you, it kind of almost ain't nothing that's gonna stop him from dating you. If he really wants you. If a dude really wants you, it almost ain't nothing that's gonna really stop him from dating you. A couple things, but for the most part, if a guy is really into you and really wants to date you, there's not a lot that's gonna stop
Lying
him.
about pregnancy, that'll stop.
Lying about pregnancy will fuck things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like usually we relentless if it's somebody we really feeling and we feel like we have a connection with and we into. But to the harder question of the break baby for the dude, like if we was on a break and then she got pregnant, which I know that's happened to somebody. They ended up together, married happily. He's raising a child.
Wow.
You know,
Like,
as
his
they,
own?
it happens. He's raising a child. The child don't even know that he's not the daddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now, what's fucked up is, because I had a situation in my family on, like, you know, down the line where I had a cousin who was raised by my cousin, but my cousin wasn't his dad. They should have kept it that way, but like at like 19, the mom like hit him off with the, well, that's why blah 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 ain't your daddy anyway.
That's fucking
And like he ain't been the same since. Because you literally destroy, like his whole childhood is now a lie. Like his whole life is a fucking lie. Right? But literally, he was raised as his son, never nothing different between him and the other son that came after that was actually from
Same last name.
literally same last name, everything.
Yeah, it was
and he looked like, my cousin looked like his mom, so you could say, oh well, he don't look like the daddy because he looks exactly like his mom. So they even could have got away. They never would have had to tell him because it ain't like he looked like some random. Because you know sometimes there's a random kid in the family where you know he's a step kid because he don't look shit like nobody in the family. It wasn't that situation. It was a situation because you know you see the Crips go, where the fuck this one come from? But you like you see this situation like he looked just like his mom. The other son looked like the dad right under him. And then when they together in the family picture, it's just like, oh, one like the mom, one like the dad.
Well, she was mad one day. Like,
She was mad at him. She was mad at him, and to hurt him, she told him like that's why I blah.
And
blah,
that's
blah,
probably what damaged him. I mean, not just necessarily the information, but the way the information was delivered.
Yes.
Because now he probably doesn't even have that feeling of saying, okay, now.
You don't feel safe.
Right.
Your mama just made you feel unsafe in regard like his emotional safety was fucking shattered.
Right.
Does he date white women?
Does he date white women?
Wow.
Hold on, let me think. I think he did, but I think he ended up marrying a black woman. That's interesting. Yeah, he did. He like went off to the Navy and shit, and
So he good.
Oh, well, he was in the Navy.
yeah, so that's kind of different.
right,
But he went off
right.
into the Navy and dated a couple white girls. But I think when he came back home, he married a black woman. But he didn't have a kid by a white girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, so because of that, he probably did. Because of that, he probably had issues with black women. After the way information was given, and after the way he knew, there probably was an issue now with black women. To the point of sometimes things happen in your life to change.
Now that didn't make me want to start dating, you know, white women.
You stay black forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing Fences.
Oh,
yesterday.
okay.
Yesterday, and it was a very powerful movie. Like, it was one of those things where at the end of it, I was in tears, and it was like low key, like glad the movie was dark because part of that movie was a reflection of my life, and it was almost like if I wrote a movie, it would be Fences. But the great thing about it is, there is some relation to what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
And it shows all these different relationships. If you really watch the movie, it shows all these different relationships between father and son, man and wife, man and another friend, man and his relationship with his brother, his siblings. So it shows you all these different relationships. So, you know, I would suggest for the people who are entertained or are interested in what we're actually talking about, go see that movie because it would definitely give you different perspective on something we just mentioned.
And you know what? See, Fences and also Hidden Figures, I think, is coming out this weekend too. So we got to make sure we support Fences and support Hidden Figures.
Movie review, man?
Oh, we used to do movie reviews, yeah. So all right, we'll come back and we'll talk about Fences next week. Give everybody that's watching a chance to go see it. We'll talk about Fences next week. But and you know, I like to do movie reviews, but it's hard because certain movies you be like, I can't talk about it without having spoilers. Right. Because I used to hate. I would listen to Power 106 in the morning, and they would do movie reviews, and they would give a movie away in every review. I'm like, yo, this is horrible. Yeah, but I'm like, this is horrible. Like y'all giving away the movie, and y'all, you know. But so we'll do a review of it next week. Everybody, make sure y'all see it. So and I want to see, you know, if you can see Hidden Figures too. No, Hidden Figures is the one about the women who sent.
Right.
Yeah.
And Paramount, the honest theater is $5 on Tuesdays. Hey.
Who posted the picture of the woman that the movie is actually about?
Ant Goots,
Yeah,
yeah.
shout out to Ant-Man. That picture was dope. To see her in front of the poster, bro.
Yeah.
Making a life about her, movie about her life, bro.
You know what's crazy too? There's a show on
It's
NBC.
also a book.
Yeah, there's a book.
Oh.
But there's a show on NBC called Timeless, where there's a time pirate who goes back in time and he's trying to fuck up the history of America. It's a dope ass show. Like
Had that episode?
and they have an episode where he goes back and talk to her.
Oh, that's dope.
Wait,
He go back and they trying to fuck up the moon, like they trying to fuck up.
It's about what?
It's a show called Timeless where they time travel to try to chase another time traveler who's going in the past trying to fuck up history. Like he goes in the past and is like, yeah, I'm gonna kill Benedict Arnold. I'm gonna go kill the niggas at the Alamo before the Alamo happens, so America can't ever happen. Like it's shit like that. So he went back to try to fuck up that time when she was doing that. Yeah.
That's like that cute shit. Right?
Yeah, it is a high concept show, but they went back and she was they was like, yo, we need to change the mathematics on this because they about to fuck up the schematics of where they going. Yeah, and so it's called Timeless, and it was a dope show. So they had, and I was like, that's dope that now that her movie is coming out, and now she's getting exposed to a generation of people that's watching this NBC show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's love, and I think that's dope, and I think it's because the show is actually educational too, because you're watching it and you're learning shit about history you probably didn't know. Because like they're like, oh no, that person ends up in this person, and that person ends up in this person. You know what I mean? So it was really dope to see her in that, like see her portrayed in that. So make sure you go see Timeless. Make sure you go see Fences, and also if you can see Collateral Beauty, the Will Smith movie. I heard it's really good. Collateral Beauty is supposed to be good. So I'll probably be in the movies all weekend.
Yeah.
I just say something too, man, just to Man, 2016, man, was crazy, man. Like, we just
Damn.
lost legends.
And it's like relentless. Like I think 2016, like we going to the last day, taking everybody we can.
Like, seriously, like,
That
it
was
seemed like
nine.
it's happening. We were talking about it, you know, me and Dane, Sam, and everyone at the, before the show started. But just, I just wish everybody a happy new year, man. Like, really, it was crazy, man. Like, and it was a tough one, you know what I mean? So, you know, next week will be
In the new year.
2017, yep. So I just hope everybody.
Trump will be president in a couple of weeks after that.
Man, that part, you know what I mean? But no, honestly too, what I like to do always reflect too on the year, and what I usually write a letter to the past year. So I just want to say though to y'all, man, like, I appreciate y'all allowing me to join y'all with this, man. I've gotten to know you guys personally, you know, and you guys have become a friend of mine, and I enjoy this a lot. You obviously too, you know, behind the camera here. So I appreciate y'all, but let me be a part of this, man, because it's just a good platform for me, and you know, I'm looking forward to what we can do in 2017.
Yeah, we gonna have some good shit coming for y'all. Yeah, we got some shit brewing for 2017, man. We want to take the show to the next level. We appreciate all our viewers, man, who's been watching, who've been helping us build. We've been seeing that our views been going up every week.
Yeah.
More people been sharing the show after the show every week. More people been commenting on the show afterwards, keeping the discussions going. I appreciate that. If you guys even have any feedback or anything that you think we can do better, please hit us up and let us know. If there's any guests you think we should have that you might know personally that you think belongs on this show, hit us up and let's try to make it happen. If there's some black entrepreneurs or some people that you know personally who own businesses that you think need to come up here and talk to us and spread the word, please let us know. We're open to all of that. We're open to all of that, even advertisement. Wild Bunch again will be at the Green Olive this Friday. So come through. It's the last one of the year. So let's come through and go out with a bang. We'll see y'all Friday, and next week we'll be here for the new year, Uncouth Radio. We want to thank everybody for watching. We hope y'all enjoyed the show. Everybody watching, please share it on your page too.
Yes.
Please share it. Get other people to share it. Tag people that you think are interested in this type of shit, because we really need to get this viewership up and get people talking about it so we can spread the word about the things we are talking about, because I feel like some of these conversations we are having are very important, and we need to open a dialogue so more people can have these conversations at home, around a coffee table, at the dinner table, because that's how we grow, that's how we build. Uncouth Radio, man, turning in for another year, and we are out of here.